It has officially begun, the first domino of the NBA trade deadline cycle. Now, if you want to say the James Harden trade was the first big domino, but that really wasn't part of the NBA trade deadline, so I'm not going to count it. But the first big trade of the NBA trade deadline, Bucks acquire PJ Tucker, Rodney Kurucs, and a 2022 first-round pick from the Rockets for DJ Augustine, DJ Wilson, and a 2023 first-round pick. Let's address this first from the Bucks side. PJ Tucker, I think we all know a lot about him. He's a guy who's been consistently one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. He gives you versatility on both sides of the floor. He can guard perimeter guards. He can even guard big men. He played a lot of center for the Rockets the past couple of years. He's a solid three-point shooter. I think he has a down year this year, but overall he's been an amazing three-point shooter the last couple of years. He's only shooting 31%. Not great, but we've seen in the past he's been consistently hovering around 36 to even 40% from three-point line since he came to Houston. But he'll at least, if he's not shooting consistently, he'll at least add a dimension on the defensive end. So that'd be huge for huge for the Bucks. I mean, they can throw him in situations. They can have him play off of Giannis, play off of Drew Holiday. Just gives an extra defender who is going to be huge come playoff time when they're playing against the Brooklyn Nets of the world, the Miami Heat of the world, Sixers, all the good playoff teams. Didn't cost them a lot. They essentially got their pick next year and gave up the 2023 first round pick. So I don't know what the difference between those two picks are going to be. Probably not that much. So essentially they just had to give up DJ Augustine, who he himself wasn't really having the best year. The Bucks tried bringing him in as a backup point guard. Didn't really pan out that well. He's averaging around 6 points a game. So the return wasn't huge, and it makes you wonder what the trademark in general was looking like for him, because there was a couple teams tied to him. I know the Sixers were tied to him for a bit. I also saw reports that the Miami Heat didn't want to give up Casey Okpala in a deal centering on PJ Tucker, and if he was the main piece, I would have pulled the trigger. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention too closely to him and his development within the Heat organization, but I feel like I would have pulled that trigger. Maybe Pat Riley and management there were like, well, this isn't the same PJ Tucker we saw back in 2018. His age is really starting to show himself. In terms of the Bucks, his fit's going to be pretty seamless. I feel like PJ Tucker on any team will work out well. He probably will play the 4 off the bench, if I had to guess. I'm not too sure if he'll be in endgame lineups. Maybe he'll replace... it depends who they're playing on. Maybe if he's really hot, he'll end it, but I feel like their endgame lineup of Giannis, Drew Holiday, Middleton, DiVincenzo. Maybe he'll play instead of Brook Lopez if they're playing a team that has all perimeter players. So I guess it's just depending on the individual matchup. And, defender, he's a guy who can switch on defense. He's someone you can really just put in and he'll do whatever you want. I'm not too worried about his fit within the team. His play has led to winning basketball. It's just another guy for the Bucks who's going to help him out, at least defensively, when it comes playoff time and they're guarding these elite players of the East and maybe even hopefully the West if they make the finals. For the Rockets, I'll say on one front, I think they had to get rid of PJ Tucker. He obviously isn't, he hasn't been playing up to par, and his play isn't, it's not matching the Rockets. He's a guy who is really useful for win now contenders, and the Rockets have been just losing games. They've lost their last 17. They missed Christian Wood for an extended period. I think he came back tonight, or he's playing next game. I can't remember exactly. So it's been, the timeline's just not there anymore, and they had to get rid of him. Like I said before, the return wasn't great. I don't know what the whole market for PJ Tucker was looking like, but you essentially gave up a earlier first-round pick to take on a later first-round pick, and you're getting back DJ Augustine, who he's shown he can be a good point guard, but he hasn't played that well this year. So I really wonder how dry this market was. Maybe they were just like, let's get off of him now while we can. So I'm not entirely sure. Also, I should say, the Bucks did get Kurucs, who is a shooter. I don't think he's... if they really need him as a spot shooter, I don't think he'll get a whole lot of playing time on that team. There's just a lot of good quality players on the Milwaukee Bucks. Really, it just comes down to how impactful PJ Tucker will be for this team. He'll probably play somewhere like 20, 25 minutes, maybe even a bit less. but he'll just be that veteran leadership who can defend all 5 positions, maybe hit down some shots if you really need to. They got off of DJ Augustine, who that experiment clearly didn't work. I thought that was a good deal for them back when they made it over the summer, but turns out it wasn't. Also, as a result of this trade, Torrey Craig got moved from the Bucks to the Suns for cash considerations. He was a guy they tried to bring in who can provide a 3-and-D role for this team. That also didn't work out. And I think with the acquisition of PJ Tucker, he became even more expendable. He wasn't playing a whole lot to begin with this year, but he got traded directly right after the PJ Tucker news broke. So that'll do for this video. Bucks get PJ Tucker. Rockets still suck. Trade deadline stuff should be happening even quicker within the next couple of weeks. I think trade deadline is next week. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.